I found a change of address form filed in my name. It redirected selected mail from my family's home in Sacramento to a post office box I had never rented. My wife's signature was genuine. The forwarding period lasted exactly 14 days in August of 1998. Across the bottom, in the handwriting of my closest friend, someone had written, "Return anything from Pine Hollow unopened." His name was Leon Foster. Leon and I had worked together for 27 years at the United States Postal Service. He had stopped speaking to me less than a month after that forwarding order expired. For decades, I believe we fell out because I reported one of his clerks for leaving accountable mail unsecured. The form told me I had been wrong. My name is Raymond Sloan. I was 72 when I found it, retired from supervising delivery operations in Sacramento, California. I was helping a small postal museum sort old records before they were digitized or destroyed. The forwarding binder came from a station I once managed. The form listed my full name, my correct address, my wife's real signature, a post office box in West Sacramento, and a handwritten instruction in Leon's block lettering. Then I found the certified mail entry clipped behind it. A letter had been addressed personally to me during the forwarding period. The sender lived in Pine Hollow. The letter never reached my house. It never reached the post office box either. Someone signed for it using the initials LF, Leon Foster. My wife had redirected our mail. My best friend had intercepted a certified letter meant for me. And the sender was my older sister, Carol, who had not spoken to me in 6 years. I stared at the receipt until one question became larger than all the others. Carol had tried to reach me. So why had everyone let me believe she never did? The records were real. I knew the form stock, the forwarding labels, and the old routing codes. The order had been entered at the River Park Station, where Leon worked as a senior window clerk. The forwarding was selective. Utility bills, bank statements, and ordinary household mail continued to our home. Only first-class envelopes addressed to my wife, my daughter, or Sloan family were redirected. Anything addressed only to me was supposed to stay on normal delivery, except a certified letter from Pine Hollow. That one had been pulled aside. The post office box rental ledger still existed. Box 642 had been rented for 1 month by Leon Foster. The authorized user line carried my wife's name. I called a retired clerk who processed a form. Her name was Barbara Quinn. She remembered Leon because he insisted on handling the order after the lobby closed. He said there was a family situation, she told me. What kind? A young woman needed private mail. Who? He didn't say. Did my wife come in? Yes. She signed in front of me. That removed the last possibility of a copied signature. My wife, Patricia, had stood inside a postal station and helped arrange a secret address under my family's information. Barbara also remembered an argument. Leon wanted every envelope from Pine Hollow returned unopened. Patricia said only mail in Carol Sloan's handwriting should be stopped. Why the distinction? I asked. Barbara lowered her voice. Leon said if you saw even one envelope from that town, you'd start making calls. He knew me. At the time, I believed family silence should be confronted immediately. If somebody refused to speak, I called again, then drove over. I considered persistence a form of love. Other people experienced it differently. I called Leon. He was 74 and living in Davis. When I read the notation, he became quiet. You found the binder. Who used box 642? Ray, let it stay buried. You signed for my sister's letter. I know. What was in it? I never opened it. Then where is it? Another pause. Gone. That word carried too many possibilities. I asked if Patricia knew. Leon said she knew enough. Then he added, before you accuse her of anything, find out who the box was for. He hung up. Patricia was in our kitchen when I came home. We had been married 48 years. She worked most of that time as a school attendant secretary. She could remember which child had asthma, whose parents were divorcing, and which teenager needed 5 quiet minutes before being marked late. I put the forwarding form on the table. Her face changed. Not surprise. Recognition. You signed this, I said. Yes. Who was the box for? She sat down. Do you remember Rachel Ames? I did. Rachel was the daughter of Patricia's closest cousin, Judith. She had spent summers with us as a teenager and later attended a strict religious college near Modesto. In 1998, Rachel was 21 and engaged to a man from the same church community. I remember the engagement ending suddenly. Judith told everyone Rachel had become rebellious and moved away. What did Rachel have to do with our mail? Patricia looked at the form. She needed documents sent somewhere her family couldn't see. What documents? College transcripts, a replacement social security card, job applications, a bus schedule, letters from an aunt in Oregon. Rachel's mother opened her mail. Her fiancé checked the mailbox before she did. They believed marriage would settle her uncertainty. Rachel believed marriage would trap her inside a life she had never freely chosen. She wanted 2 weeks to prepare to leave. No crime, no dramatic rescue. Just enough privacy to gather papers, find work, and arrange transportation. Why use our family's forwarding order? Because mail address of Rachel at a private box would have raised questions if anyone found the receipt. Mail redirected from our house looked ordinary. And Leon controlled the box. Yes. Why wasn't I told? Patricia answered carefully. Because you had already talked to Judith. I remembered that conversation. Judith called our house complaining that Rachel had become secretive. I told her, don't let this turn into a family split. Get everyone in one room and make them talk. Patricia had heard me. So had Rachel, standing in our hallway. I had thought I was encouraging honesty. Rachel heard that I would send her back into the room she was trying to leave. But the forwarding order still contained my sister's letter. Rachel explained the box. She did not explain why Carol's attempt to reconcile with me had disappeared. I searched our old household calendar. The 14-day forwarding period matched 2 weeks Patricia had marked only with a small green circle. On the first day, Rachel came to Sacramento and stayed with a friend of Patricia's. She never lived in our house. Each afternoon, Patricia collected mail from Box 642 and delivered it to her. That explained the authorized user's signature. Leon handled anything that passed through station. The green circles ended on August 23rd. Beside that date, Patricia had written, our bus north. Called Judith afternoon. Rachel left on a bus to Eugene, Oregon, where her aunt had found her a receptionist job. Patricia called Judith after Rachel was safely across the state line. The family argument lasted for years. Rachel's mother claimed Patricia had encouraged disobedience. Patricia insisted she had only given Rachel room to choose. I understood why she helped. I did not understand why she used my name and household without asking. You knew I'd object, I said. Yes. You made me part of it anyway. Yes. She did not soften the answer. That honesty came 25 years late. I asked about Leon's warning. Patricia said Pine Hollow was where Carol lived. At that time, Carol and I had not spoken since our mother's final illness. Carol wanted Mom moved to Pine Hollow, close to her home. I wanted Mom kept in Sacramento, near her doctors. Mom died before we settled it. At the funeral, Carol accused me of treating her like a visitor in her own family. I told her she had been absent until decisions became difficult. She left before the service ended. For 6 years, neither of us called. Then, during Rachel's escape, Carol sent me a certified letter. Patricia claimed she did not know its contents. But you knew it existed. Yes. And you let Leon sign for it. At first, I thought he was only delaying it. At first. She looked away. There was the real mystery. The immediate crisis lasted 14 days. The letter stayed hidden for 25 years. Whatever happened after Rachel reached Oregon had nothing to do with protecting her mail. Rachel agreed to speak with me. She lived in Eugene and worked as an academic advisor at a community college. Her voice still carried the careful politeness she had learned young. I'm sorry you found out through records, she said. You knew about the forwarding form? Not every detail. She knew Patricia and Leon had created the box. She knew they used our address because it made the paperwork appear routine. She also knew I had not consented. Did you ask them to keep me out? Yes. That hurt more than I expected. Why? Because you would have called my mother. I might have tried to help everyone talk. That was the problem. Rachel said Judith could turn a family meeting into a wall. Everyone had to speak, but only the approved truth counted. Rachel needed documents before another conversation could begin. The first major truth was complete. Patricia and Leon were not sharing a secret relationship. They were protecting Rachel's chance to build an independent life. The post office box gave her 2 weeks of private correspondence. The selective forwarding kept Judith and her fiancé from tracing where documents went. Leon's instruction about Pine Hollow existed because he feared any letter from Carol would make me call immediately. At first, the plan was understandable. Still wrong. Still a violation. But understandable. I asked Rachel what happened to Carol's certified letter. I never saw it. Did Patricia? I think so. That contradicted my wife. Rachel remembered arriving at the post office box one afternoon and finding Patricia and Leon arguing beside Leon's car. Patricia held a large envelope with a green certified sticker. She said, "We give it to him when Rachel is gone." What did Leon say? He said, "Then he'll know what we did." That was a small detail that changed everything. They had planned to delay the letter only until Rachel was safe. Afterward, protecting Rachel no longer required silence. The remaining secrecy protected Patricia and Leon. And somewhere between the post office and my house, my sister's letter had vanished. I confronted Leon at his home. He brought out a metal document case. Inside were old postal commendations, union papers, and one photocopy of a certified mail receipt. My sister's letter had been sent with restricted delivery. Only I was supposed to sign for it. Leon signed anyway. He uses employee access and marked himself as authorized agent. That could have ended your career. I said, "I know." "Where's the envelope?" Carol asked for it back. That surprised me. When? 3 weeks later. Leon had telephoned her after Rachel reached Oregon. He admitted the letter never reached me. Carol demanded it be returned. He mailed it back inside a larger envelope without opening it. The accountable mail ledger recorded the original item as refused. That was a strange notation I had overlooked. The refused stamp was dated 12 days after Leon signed for delivery. Postal procedure could not explain that sequence. Personal interference could. Why did you call Carol instead of bringing it to me? Leon looked tired. Because Patricia asked me to wait. Rachel was safe. Yes. So why wait? He said the letter would reopen the argument over our mother. Patricia believed our marriage had finally settled after years of family tension. Whenever Carol's name came up, I became angry for days. Patricia did not want another season of phone calls, accusations, and long drives to Pine Hollow. She wanted peace, Leon said. Her peace. Yours too. She didn't get to choose mine. No. Leon had his own reason. If I saw the forwarding label or learned he had signed restricted mail, I would have reported him. Maybe not immediately. Eventually. He feared losing his job 10 years before retirement. So he and Patricia agreed on 1 week. Then another. Carol asked for the letter back before they decided. What did it say? I told you. I didn't read it. Did Patricia? No. Then how did either of you know it was an apology? Leon's eyes shifted. That was the first lie he had told me that day. He had not opened the letter, but someone had told him what was inside. The only person left was Carol. Carol was alive. She was 78 and still in Pine Hollow, though arthritis had moved her into a small assisted living apartment. When I called, she said my name as if she had expected it for years. I found the forwarding order. I told her. Then Patricia finally ran out of places to hide it. The bitterness was immediate. It was also earned. Carol remembered every page of the letter. She had apologized for leaving our mother's funeral. She admitted she had arrived late during Mom's illness and then behaved as a concern gave her equal authority over decisions. But she also explained something I never knew. Mom had asked Carol to move her to Pine Hollow, not because she distrusted me, because she did not want Patricia carrying the daily burden anymore. My wife had been driving Mom to appointments, cooking meals, and handling emergencies while I worked long postal shifts. I thought keeping Mom nearby was a responsible choice. Mom saw what it was costing Patricia. Carol's letter contained that truth. She wanted you to know I wasn't trying to take her from you, Carol said. I was trying to honor what she asked. The second major truth settled over me. If I had received that letter during Rachel's crisis, I would have called Carol. Carol would have asked why our mail had been forwarded. I would have discovered the secret box and likely contacted Judith before Rachel left. Delaying the letter for 2 weeks protected Rachel. But after Rachel was safe, Patricia still chose silence. Because Carol's letter would reveal that my mother had seen Patricia's exhaustion before I did. Patricia had resented me for insisting Mom remain in Sacramento. She had never admitted how overwhelmed she was. The letter would have forced that conversation. It might also have repaired my relationship with Carol. Patricia feared both outcomes. She wanted the family crisis over. She wanted Carol out of our decisions. And she did not want me learning that my mother had asked to leave partly to protect my wife from me. Leon kept the secret to protect his career. Patricia kept it because the results suited her. And I had made secrecy believable by treating every disagreement as something to confront before anyone was ready. Carol asked for the letter back. Then she burned it. Why? I asked, because after 3 weeks, an apology starts feeling like a performance. That was a conversation they took from me. Not guaranteed reconciliation. Only the chance. Patricia, Leon, Rachel, and I met in our dining room a month later. Carol refused to come. She joined by telephone for 10 minutes, then said she had told her part and hung up. Nobody delivered a perfect apology. Leon said, I helped Rachel. I would probably do that again. I answered, you signed for my mail. I know. You ended our friendship rather than tell me. I was afraid you'd report me. I might have. That doesn't make what I did right. Patricia admitted the forwarding plan had been hers. She knew I would demand an open family meeting. She knew Rachel had no power in that kind of room. Then she admitted what happened afterward. I was relieved Carol disappeared again, she said. The sentence was ugly. It was also honest. Carol had criticized our marriage for years. She believed Patricia made me rigid. Patricia believed Carol used guilt to control me. When the letter came, Patricia saw reconciliation as another opening for Carol to re-enter our lives. You protected Rachel. I said, yes. Then you protected yourself. Yes. And you let me think my sister never tried. Her eyes filled. Yes. Rachel apologized for not telling me later. She had believed Patricia would handle it. Then gratitude became loyalty. Loyalty became silence. I didn't want to accuse the people who helped me, she said. That made sense. It did not undo anything. My marriage survived. But for months, every envelope Patricia carried inside reminded me of the one she kept away. Leon and I began speaking again slowly. We never returned to the friendship we had before. Carol and I exchanged letters. Not phone calls at first. Letters gave both of us time to finish a thought without interruption. We repaired something. Not everything. Our mother was still dead. The argument had still happened. 25 years could not be forwarded back to us. The Postal Museum displayed a copy of the forwarding form in an exhibit about manual mail processing. My name is covered. So are the addresses. Visitors see only the labels, handwritten routing notes, and the old certified mail number. The original remains with me. I keep it in a folder beside Carol's recent letters. Her handwriting has become larger and less steady. She still signs every one, Love, your difficult sister. Last week, Patricia brought in the mail and placed a white envelope on the counter. It was from Pine Hollow. For a moment, neither of us touched it. Then Patricia said, you should open that. I know. She stayed in the room. That mattered. Carol had written to say she was considering moving closer to Sacramento. She asked whether I thought we could live in the same city without trying to correct each other every week. I called her before I could build a careful answer. She laughed when I read her the question. Probably not, I said. Good. I was worried you'd gone soft. Afterward, Patricia asked what Carol had decided. She hasn't. You didn't push? Not much. That was true enough. Leon still sends Christmas cards. Rachel visits when she comes through California. Her mother never fully forgave Patricia, though they speak now. No one emerged clean. The forwarding order protected a young woman whose mail was being watched. It also redirected a truth that belonged to me. The certified letter might not have healed my relationship with Carol. I might have answered badly. I might have exposed Rachel's plan. Those possibilities were real. So was my right to receive it. On the old form, Leon's instruction remains in dark ink. Return anything from Pine Hollow unopened. At first, it looked like proof that my wife and my closest friend had built a hidden life behind my back. Later, it looked like evidence of courage. Now it looks like both courage and control written on the same line. Yesterday, I wrote Carol a letter instead of calling. I apologized for one part of the funeral argument I had never admitted was mine. I sealed the envelope before Pride could revise it. Then I walked to the blue collection box at the end of our street. Patricia came with me. I held the letter over the slot. For a second, I thought about all the hands that can delay a message, all the reasons people call delay protection. Then I let go. The envelope struck the metal bottom with a soft, ordinary sound. This time, nobody had written instructions to send it back.